The ECB met on Thursday, its first meeting since its strategic review. And in all honesty, it doesn't really feel like an enormous amount has changed. While it has changed its inflation target very slightly from below but close to 2% to 2%, with the ability to go moderately over for a small period of time. It just doesn't feel like an enormous amount has changed. That's such a small tweak, first and foremost. And ordinarily with other central banks, you may argue that that means that the ability to have a more aggressive policy for longer, the Federal Reserve, for example, you could argue may be a significant tweak. But as far as the ECB is concerned, it's hard to see past the fact that regardless of this change, it's still really struggled to get even close to its previous target for a decade now. And with that in mind, the idea that this policy tweak is going to dramatically change that feels a bit far-fetched. It's not like the European Central Bank has not tried to hit that target. It's not like it hasn't been extremely aggressive in its policy with all the bond buying, negative interest rates, and other unconventional monetary policy tools. So I find it really hard to get overly excited by this. And while we did see a slight drop off in yields across Europe, and we did see the euro edge a little bit lower, I think the feeling generally seems to be shared throughout the markets. Now, of course, it is also worth noting that this is a policy tweak which was already announced, so that it didn't come as a shock, which is one reason why we may not have seen more of a reaction in the markets. But as I say, it's difficult to get too excited about a policy change when the central bank has struggled so much to get to the previous target it had set, which should have theoretically been a little bit easier. But I guess time will tell just how aggressive the central bank will be, and whether we will see more unconventional tools or alternative tools in an attempt to try and get to that new 2% target. And obviously there is also emergency measures in place since the pandemic, and we'll see whether those are going to be maintained for a longer period than currently envisaged in order to try and achieve this target, or just simply be replaced by something else. The ECB obviously still has plenty of tools in its kit that it can unleash onto this, but it is not going to be quite so straightforward. We've seen for a long time there's a wide range of views on the policy committee, and there is always fierce debate about what should be used. It's been clear, and it's been reported that there are a couple of the more hawkish voices who were unhappy with this policy change, the usual hawkish voices, it is worth noting, and therefore I don't think it's going to be quite so straightforward. But again, this is a broader discussion, and within a central bank that, as I say, has very much struggled for more than a decade now to hit its previous mandate. And as I say, the market's not getting that excited. We have seen some softness in the euro, and as you can see in the chart here, it has made its way back towards that kind of 117, 117.50 area, and that is a place where we have previously seen support, and we can see already momentum is starting to slow around this point. Barring a big policy change from the ECB, I wonder whether this is going to be a big level of support as far as the euro is concerned. The next meeting isn't until September, but that is where we'll get new economic forecasts, and that is that quarterly meeting when any policy changes would be likely to be announced on the back of those new economic projections. So at the moment, we are appearing to run into some support around 117, 117.50 range. If we do rebound off those levels, then obviously that brings back into focus the kind of 119, 120 areas. Perhaps we're going to see just consolidation within this range, particularly ahead of that September meeting and during what is a typically quiet summer. So I think the ECB is going to be key now as far as the euro dollar pair is concerned. Now over the course of the next couple of months, and just how aggressive they are going to be with this new policy. It seems that it would be a wasted effort to announce this policy tweak and not act upon it. But as I say, there is dissenting voices from within the ECB, and therefore when there is already an emergency pandemic scheme that people are talking about tapering back, then obviously that's going to come with its own challenges as well. So I think all eyes now are going to be on that meeting in September, and perhaps we are now going to see a little bit more consolidation in the euro dollar pair.